Hey, Michael, good to see you. The other day, you said that you guys know the Trailblazers inside and out. They obviously know you guys inside and out. Like, what are what does the series hinge on when you guys are so familiar and are so competitive and obviously have a history with them? What does it hinge on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they feel the same way about us. 2 years ago, 7-game series. We played each other in the regular season 7 times. We played each other in the preseason twice. Um, I think it's going to come down to a lot of things. Discipline in terms of executing the game plan, personnel discipline. Taking away their tendencies. You go back to the last game we played them, Mike, our 3rd game in Portland a few days ago. In that first quarter, we acted like we were guarding a team who wasn't a deadly 3-point shooting team. We gave up 9 threes in the first quarter. We all know that Damian Lillard is an all-NBA player. CJ McCollum would probably have been a multiple-time All-Star if he wasn't playing in the Western Conference. That's just how deep the West has been in the guard position for many, many years. But CJ is terrific. We all remember what he did in Game 7 against us 2 years ago. The addition of Norman Powell, now they have 3 guys on the perimeter that can get theirs at any time. You have 2 really talented physical bigs and Yusuf Nurkic and Enes Kanter. And you have arguably one of the greatest one-on-one scorers in NBA history in Carmelo Anthony, who's still doing it at a high level at this stage of his career, which is really impressive. So the 3-point line will be ultra important. We know that they're second in makes and attempts. They take 42 a night. And when you guard the 3, you give yourself a chance. And we've done that. I think we've guarded Damian Lillard probably better than most teams have. And that's a challenge. The rebounding, they're a top 3 rebounding team on the offensive glass. And with all the guys that we have out, we're going to need guys to step up and make shots. Nikola's going to have to carry us, obviously, but other guys will have to step up and be ready to compete on both ends and contribute. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fantastic series.
Chris Dempsey with Altitude.
Hi, Coach. Good to see you. Michael Porter Jr., this obviously is not his first playoff go-around, but last year was in the bubble. And I'm wondering what, if anything, can translate for a young player like that from a bubble playoffs to one now that he's going on the road and going to be facing fans and travel and all that goes into a normal NBA playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that'll be, new to Michael and a few of our other guys, playing in a hostile environment. I'm not sure how many fans Portland will have, but they will have fans. The travel, as you mentioned, those are some of the things that you didn't get to experience in Orlando in our 19 playoff games. But what doesn't change is the games, the style of play, the physicality. And with Jamal out, with PJ out, with Will Barton, still working his way back. Michael's going to be ultra important for us on both ends of the floor. He's got to be that second scoring option, for us. So I think Michael starting, coming off the bench, playing big minutes, making big shots. He's played in big games and had big moments. So I think from that standpoint, I don't think this is going to be something new for Michael. He was really important for our postseason run last year, and I have no doubt that he's up for the challenge this year.
Mark Kisla, Denver Post.
Hey, Coach, and MPJ follow-up, basically. Why do you think he's so much more ready this year than he was last year? I mean, he contributed to your playoff run last year, but in some ways I thought he was found money. But this year, like you said, he's got to be ultra important. And why do you think he's so much ready to have that bigger role?
Yeah, well, I think last year was a big part of it because, it's such a weird year. I mean, the season gets shut down after our game in Dallas. We finally pick up, and we went down to Orlando, we didn't have anybody. We had all bigs, and Michael got a tremendous chance to play in the 8 seeding games. He played so well. He was first team all bubble for those 8 seeding games. And I think that allowed Michael to get confidence in himself, but also his teammates, the coaching staff to say, okay, you know what? We can throw more at this kid, and he's more than ready to take it and run with it. And that translated into the postseason. You know, obviously 2 7-game series against Utah and the Clippers, and then obviously playing 5 games against the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. You can't put a dollar sign on that amount of in-game experience for Michael Porter. And, you know, you got to go back to the beginning of this year. We as a team got off to a slow start, 1-4. Michael in January barely plays due to COVID protocols. When he came back, he was struggling with the shot for a little bit. But after that, I mean, Michael Porter just, even before Jamal got hurt, you know, Michael was playing at a really high level. And most importantly, he was doing it in a very efficient manner. And then when Jamal went down, 18 games to go, well, what's going to happen here? Are we going to go 500? How are we going to be able to withstand this and weather the storm? And Michael continued to step his game up even more, allowing us to go 13-5 without Jamal Murray, which was the second or third best record in the NBA during that time. Michael's got tremendous belief in himself. He works his butt off before practice, after practice, and he's taken full advantage of the opportunity that's been given to him. And he's still got plenty of room to grow, Kiz, and these playoffs will be another opportunity for him to kind of cement his status on this team and throughout the league.
Should he expect Portland to? I mean, if I'm Stotts, I'm like, I know what Joker is. Joker's the MVP, and Michael Porter's obviously a talented guy, but I'd run everything at him I could just to, because he's still a young guy, and challenge him. Should he expect that, and is he ready for that, for being the focus of another team's attention?
Yeah, well, I think in the last 18 games, we've seen a lot of that. Obviously, you can't replicate the playoffs in any of those last 18 games, but I think we've seen a lot of that ever since Jamal, Monte, PJ, and Will have been out. They know that we need Nikola and Michael Porter to score. That's not a secret. You know what I mean? Those are our 2 leading scorers. So yes, I do fully expect Portland to start, Robert Covington on him, give him different looks, put a smaller guy on him, get into him, really crowd him, definitely amp up the physicality and the aggressiveness. And it's really going to be a wonderful opportunity for Michael to experience that as, hey, last year it was Nikola, it was Jamal. I mean, Jamal Murray, people forget, he averaged 31 points a game in the playoffs last year. He had 2 50-point games in the first round. So without Jamal Murray, obviously we need other guys to step up in the postseason. And Michael's going to have a great opportunity to do so. And regardless of the results, what a wonderful opportunity and growing opportunity for Michael to kind of battle that and figure out a way, and we will help him to combat that.
Katie Wingy, Altitude.
Hey, Coach, you've mentioned it a couple times now, but that series that took place a couple years ago, I know these are 2 completely different teams now at this point, but how often are you thinking about that series, the way it went? Do you use it as motivation? Do the players use it as motivation at all?
No, I mean, obviously for the guys that were here, I think we all have the memory of them celebrating on our home court after the Game 7 win, a game in which we were up in the first half by double figures. So I'm sure that still doesn't sit well with the guys that were on that team. But as you mentioned, they're completely different in so many ways. They've changed how they do things, both offensively and defensively, as have we. We've got new players. So, it can't be a rallying cry when a bunch of your guys weren't here for it, Remember the Alamo. I wasn't here for that. So I think it's more about preparing for their team right now. We've grown since that point in time. We took a step forward last year. I believe last 2 years in the playoffs, out of the current playoff teams, no one has played more playoff games than the Denver Nuggets at 33. So we have guys with experience. Aaron Gordon has played in the playoffs. Austin Rivers has 45. JaVale McGee has played in a bunch of them, won 3 championships. So we're just going to focus on our current team and the current challenge of playing this Trailblazers team.
Matt Moore, the Action Network.
The Action Network. Wow.
Yes, sir. Michael, if the Blazers, since adding Powell, have changed a little bit of how they're using Dame, he's ISOing more, he's rejecting more screens, and that gets him away from the trap, which is causing problems. And it's a reason you guys have had a lot of success versus him. My big question is, how much do you go into this series or any series with expectations of what the opponent is going to do versus trying to cover for all possible, different adjustments they can make out of the box? How do you approach,
Right.
what you've seen from them before versus trying to plan for them, trying to get ahead of those things?
Yeah, I think as you prepare, and we have a fairly good understanding of, who they are, as do they with us, Matt. But they finished the season on a real positive, strong note. I think we had gone in there and won a close game. After our game, they lost to Memphis twice in close games. And then they finished up on a real high note. So I don't see them changing what they've been doing as of late because it's working. Their defense has really picked up. Their paint defense last 12 has been exceptional. Offensively, we know that Dame and CJ are going to be in a ton of pick and rolls and ISOs. They're not a high scoring team in terms of fast break points per game, but they are the number one scoring team in the NBA in terms of drags and double drags. So it's early pick and rolls to free Dame and CJ up. So we anticipate them being who they are. And that's what's great about the playoffs. You talk about the potential adjustments that they may make, that we may make, and you touch on them with your team. But as the series goes on, as game one goes on, that's when you look to employ different tactics and respond to theirs. So, right now, this was our first practice. It was a terrific practice, a lot of energy. Guys worked extremely hard. Just trying to figure out how you're going to guard one of the most dangerous backcourts in the NBA. And you couple that with 3-point shooting everywhere and two really skilled bigs that can hurt you in the post, in the pocket, and on the glass. So it's going to be a hell of a challenge for our group.
All right, that'll do it. Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you. That's who works with them, Denver Post.
Yeah, it's a surprise to you.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah. Michael, when Jamal went down, it would almost be ridiculous to ask Nikola to do more. But did you have a conversation with him about welcoming more responsibility, accepting more burden, and kind of recognizing if you guys are going to go anywhere, it's going to be on his shoulders and how far he takes you?
Yeah, to be honest, Mike, I never had that conversation. I felt that Nikola has given his all season. And that's why I think he's truly the MVP of this league, because from game one all the way through game 72, he brought it every single night. And so I knew I didn't have to have that discussion with him, whether it's the 6 years we've had together, knowing that when guys go down, he understands the importance of him stepping up. But it was more important, the discussion with the other players and how we needed more from everybody else while Nikola maintained that MVP level. And to go 13-5, with no Jamal Murray, which also included 2 days later, no Monte Morris, a few games later, no Will Barton, PJ Dozier. When you add all that together, I think how we finished the year was really remarkable. So proud of Nikola, yes, but also proud of everybody else that performed at a high enough level that allowed us to be the 3 seed with everything that we had to deal with.
Katie Wingy, Altitude Sports.
Hey, Coach, with a couple days of practice now, I'm just wondering, is there any update on Will Barton or PJ Dozier? Have you seen them and working out with them? And then what is your hope for them either in this series or beyond?
Yeah, I think Will is definitely closer, Katie, than PJ. Obviously, PJ's injury was, they're all serious, but I think his was much more traumatic. So he's definitely working hard, just having him around practice, seeing him, his positivity has been great. But I think PJ is still a ways out. Will Barton, was able to do parts of practice yesterday and today. Those soft tissue injuries are tough. And, that's what he's dealing with, but he's definitely inching closer. I don't know if he'll be available or not come Saturday night. I'm hoping that maybe he'll be able to, but we have to be smart with that. And I know we all want him back, but he's just not there at the moment, unfortunately.
Dwight Janes, NBC West. Oh, hey, Dwight, you're still muted there.
Well, last time you said you were doing it, but Mike, I'm sorry. what concerns you the most about defending them now? They've gone to a 3-guard lineup and all. How does that change them?
Yeah, I think for me, Dwight, the thing that scares me the most is the 3-point line. They take 42 a game. They were second or third in both makes and attempts. Last game we played them, they hit for 9 in the first quarter. They can break a game open. They have an elite offense, number 2 in offensive efficiency. They don't turn the ball over. And you have a guy in Damian Lillard who takes 10.5 threes a game. 8 of those are pull-up threes, and we know that his pull-up 3-point range is just over half court. So your pickup points, your bigs being at the level, he understandably so attracts so much attention. I think CJ McCollum is a terrific player. All of us here in Denver still remember his performance in Game 7 a few years ago. So they are one of the more talented and dangerous backcourts. And then to your point, you add a guy in Norman Powell who also stretches the floor. He gets to the basket, he gets to the foul line. Those 3 guards put a tremendous amount of pressure on your defense, especially from the 3-point line. So that would probably be the number 1 concern is, can we guard the 3 somehow, some way? And then to follow that up, I think the next concern is, can we keep Yusuf Nurkic and Cantor off the glass? Those guys are tremendous offensive rebounders. They're physical, they're strong, and they are on the season one of the top offensive rebound teams in the league. So even when you play good defense, it's not over until you get that defensive rebound.
Harrison Wynn, DNVR.
Hey, Michael, Aaron's obviously been such a great fit for you guys since you got him at the deadline. What have been your conversations about, like, with him, just in terms of what you're going to need from him defensively in this series, just with Portland's guards and kind of going off what you were just saying with containing them?
Yeah, it's funny thing is, we were talking about this. Last year we went to Western Conference Finals, and we had Jeremy Grant, and Jeremy was guarding the likes of Donovan Mitchell, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. And so obviously getting Aaron Gordon was, a great acquisition for us at the trade deadline. And we have been, as a team, really successful ever since that trade deadline. I think one of the better records in the NBA since March 25th. But now you're playing a team that doesn't have that elite wing, that wing that, you're so concerned about. Portland's got 3 elite guards that put up just unbelievable numbers every single night. And as you've all seen, we've been using Aaron Gordon to guard those guards, whether it's Norman Powell, CJ McCollum, or Damian Lillard. And that's going to be a hell of a challenge, not just for Aaron Gordon, but for all of our perimeter players. But I think he's really excited. He was excited when he got here, Harrison, because he knew the type of team that we had, the success that we've had in the past. He wanted to be a part of that. And now that the playoffs are here, this is going to be a great opportunity for Aaron Gordon to prove himself on both ends. And I have no doubt that he will. He's working his butt off, and I think he's really excited, as is everybody on the team, to get this series going. Having this week of preparation is like a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because you get a lot of time to prepare. You get some time mentally and physically to give your players some rest. But I also think there's a part of our guys, and I'm sure the Portland players, that, hey, man, let's start this thing up. Let's start playing, because we have not had this kind of rest the whole season. So Saturday night can't come soon enough. Thank you.
Kyle Fredrickson, the Denver Post.
Hey, Michael, just wanted to follow up a little bit on Nurkic. Watching film of him this year, what makes him so effective? And also, I know 2017 was a long time ago, but what do you remember just about the challenge of playing him and Jokic, on the same team during their brief stint as teammates? Nikola mentioned that, for at least as younger players, it seemed like they just didn't play well together.
Well, for your first question, Nurk he's really skilled. I think he's a great complement to both Dame and CJ. They're one of the league leaders in pick and rolls per game and dribble handoffs per game. And those guys have great synergy on the court. He sets great screens, he rolls, and his ability to catch the ball in the pocket to finish, to make plays for others. We talked about his ability to work the offensive glass. And now 3 head-to-head meetings this year, Yusuf is averaging 5 offensive rebounds a game against us. So yeah, he's skilled, he's big, he's physical. He's a really good basketball player. Going back to 2017, it seems like such a long time ago. And, we tried to play them both together early on. Didn't have the results that we necessarily wanted. And the reality is, I think, the trade has benefited Nurk, it's benefited us, and it worked out for everybody. Nurk had a chance to become their starting center and has been instrumental in all their success. And obviously, we know that who our center is. He's the league MVP. And, we've done everything to build around Nikola Jokic, which has allowed us to be the team that we've been, the last 3-4 years. So, it didn't go well, but, I think Nurk is in a great place. And I think you can tell by our recent success the last few years that, we've definitely gone in the right direction as well.
All right, Coach, we got time for one more. We're going to end with Mike Singer with the Denver Post.
Hey, Michael. You mentioned the 13-5 record since Jamal went down. Where would you guys be without Facu, A? And B, how comfortable are you with the matchup of him going up against Dame, given that he's a rookie, but he's obviously not your typical rookie given his experience?
Yeah, I mean, Facu obviously has been playing at a really high level. With the injuries to Jamal and Monte and Will and PJ, more was placed on his shoulders, starting role, playing heavy minutes. I think in that stretch, Mike, Facu really impacted the game on both ends, scoring and playmaking on offense, defense, loose balls, being into guys, being just a constant pest out there. So I think, I don't know if we're 13-5 without Facu's play. We were depleted in the backcourt. So you're playing a rookie in Facu, you're playing a 10-day player in Austin Rivers, you're playing a two-way player in Shaq Harrison. So we needed all those guys to step up, and they did. And then going in, this is his rookie season, his first playoffs. But the thing we all know about Facu, he's been in big games in the Olympics, in World Championships, in the Euro League. So I don't anticipate Facu having a deer in headlights look. I think he's going to be, I'm very comfortable in the setting. He knows that the playoffs are a different level, and I'm sure he's going to bring his game to a different level. But it's not on Facu to guard Dame Lillard by himself. No one can guard Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum by themselves. It will truly require a team effort, and all five guys on the floor are going to have to be locked in and be real disciplined within the game plan and the personnel.
All right, that'll do it. Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thank you.